Okay, let's go ahead and get started for today. I do have a fun little show and tell about where I am that I'll run you through in a sec. But before that, just checking in, did anyone have a play with equalizers or any other effects over the week? Arsha, yes, nice. Do you want to tell us about it? What did you do?
I did this, but actually I haven't fully done it, but I did this recording of this West African jam session that was happening in Tempelhof in Berlin. And I thought I would use the equalizer to kind of like play around with the sounds and cut out like the crowds and also so when I went for this jam session, the cops showed up because it was outside a park and then this lady started saying things like spread, spread and don't stand too close and stuff. So I thought I would like cut that out and like sample it
What?
something else.
Dude, that's sick. That sounds like really experimental. Like you didn't just take a track and chuck it in. You got some nice field recordings and stuff.
Yeah. I'll let you
Nice.
know how it goes after I'm done with it, but I'm still trying to work it out.
Yeah, okay. No worries. Anyone else have a go? Wanna show and tell or just share?
Yeah, I just played around with that same track, man.
Yeah, your mashup?
Yep, just pretty much cut it up, try to add a few effects here and there. Didn't work out too well with a few effects, but
Okay.
definitely worth experimenting a bit more.
Yep. Nice, man. Okay, cool. Look at I mean, I don't know if you caught up with the recording or anything at all, but last week we just went over some basic effects. One of them's called an equalizer. And the good news is I think from here I'm going to slow down like how much I cram into each class. And what I'll do is like in some classes I'll try and like consolidate some past info we've gone across so we're not just like flying past it. Um, on that note, this class is, as you know, as everyone knows, this class started because we wanted to have this goal of making DJ sets and mashups. And so this class actually knocks off this last one, perform live on Ableton. Um, I mean, we're going to understand how to use session view and you're going to see how it can be used as a performance tool. To then actually go and use it in a performance is like years of work and all that to get to, but at least you know you have the know-how after this of the basics of how it works. And you can even do things like watch videos, like even after this, if you watch like the younger Lagan mashup, I think a few of us in this group have seen it. You'll see Ableton session view at the back and you'll be like, oh cool, like I'm at least I'm on the same, I'm on the right path now. Like you don't absolutely have no idea about what's happening. Cool. And Ableton Tractor, Pranch, I had to Google about this just before for you. Some pretty cool possibilities that I didn't even know about. So I won't go through it in this class because it's like not for, you know, enough people. It's not relevant enough, but there's some links that I found on YouTube that I'll include in the notes that you can check out. Cool. So that's that. And after this, we'll get into more music stuff, whether it's making your own beats. And then, of course, the big thing, which is MIDI, making your own music, chords, all of that. Cool. On that note, Burning Man 2020. It's fucking happening, guys. It's on. Like, COVID is not stopping this shit. So, I somehow, through a twist of fate, have crossed paths with the Burning Man event organizers who just needed a hand with this year's event. So, just a bit of context before I walk you through the live stream that's happening right now next door. This year, it's going to be a virtual event. So, obviously, because you know you can't meet and stuff. But Classic Burning Man, they say it's going to be like the biggest virtual event the world has ever seen. Like there's nothing that's happened of this scale, because when problems like COVID happen, it also breeds a bit of creativity and like how do we get around and you know make this the same community feel that the insane Burning Man experience is. So the experience for this year is called a multiverse. So what they've done is they've actually created a game. Okay, it's not just a live stream where it's like a Facebook thing where you can like watch a stream live, because everyone's doing that now, and of course they want to differentiate. So they made an app which you can download for like $10 a week, and you are an avatar. You're a raver, like you're an attendee at Burning Man. So you can walk around this world where there's different campsites playing music, but you can also rent a hoverboard so you can get around quicker. Okay, and then yeah, you also see other people in the world. So there can be up to 1 million people in your world, but there are multiple worlds. Okay, so in each world there's these different camps. And right now what's happening next door is this is the Australian camp being recorded in Fortitude Valley in Brisbane right now. So they've picked out some of the best DJs in Brisbane to record at the Australian camp, and some people from Sydney and Melbourne are sending sets as well. So on that note, just because it's always fun to, I think, like get out of our screens and get into where it's actually happening, I am going to walk you through this space, microphone in one hand, awkward laptop in the other, and awkwardly point you at a DJ who's currently live streaming. And just shout at me if you need me to like pivot the camera up or down. But right now we are in just empty nightclub. Follow me. All right, guys. This is it. This is Christopher Brooks currently DJing. And this over here on the left is the recording station where they're recording the video, recording the audio, the second computer sending the visual, and we have like a run sheet as well. This is Amanda. She is the point of contact for Burning Man for Australia this year, and she's the brain behind the operation. She also buys me pizza, so I really like her. But yeah, that's that. There's been, I think, 12 DJs over the 2 days that are being recorded here. So I've just been helping out. But yeah, so it's going to go live next week. And so there's going to be like a big public push going out then when they like actually send out the app and all that stuff. But it's been like really quiet so far. They've wanted to keep it under wraps until quite recently. But yeah, that's a little bit about what I've been up to. Okay, on that note, let's talk more Ableton. 1 second, set Zoom as output. All right, share desktop. Yeah. So before we start this one, which is about session view, as I said, I just wanted to shout out Shez, man. While he's not been able to make a lot of the classes because it clashes with his uni and things, he's been like, this is his session. He sent it to me. He put this together. He recorded that guitar loop up the top. It's the same loop that you guys had in lesson 4. And then he's like gone and found like other loops and things, and he's added beats. You can even see he's done some like chopping. So this drum would have obviously been like this naturally, you know, where the kick drum is like that. But you can see that he's reversed it. So yeah, I just wanted to shout him out, and it's pretty cool that he's like, you know, following these steps and like getting his stuff together on a page. I thought that was pretty motivating, so I thought I'd share that. Sick. Cool. So far what we've kind of already covered is and these are things where I'm happy to like quickly go over again if we need to, because I think they're like really important, right? But we've gone through, don't save. We've gone through how to bring in a piece of audio into Ableton. So, you know, quick recap, if there's a file that you have, any MP3, you can just drag it in to arrangement view and it pops up. Or if it's on the left, you can just like drag it in. You can save folders from your file explorer into Ableton. You can see my Ableton, right? Okay, amazing. Just wanted to check. And so yeah, that's how you can bring in audio into Ableton. What else we've learned? We've learned how to record a piece of audio. So quick recap on that. Look at if you missed that one. It can be a guitar or vocal. You go to settings and you just change your input to your either MacBook microphone, which is all that Shazad's using for now, and it's, you know, good enough to start. Or if you have a sound card where you can plug in a guitar. Actually, because you have a Tractor S4 now, both Likith and Prayansh, that works as a external sound card, so you can plug a guitar into that and get that into Ableton, which is pretty cool. So you can select that as your input, and then to record things, you just want to arm the track, that red button here, and hit record, and suddenly you can record into a track. You know how to warp things to a grid, so you double click, you find the first beat, you know, set the 1 there, and then if it's an electronic track where it's already warped, you can just warp from here straight and it does the job. Otherwise, you can like grab something and stretch it to the grid wherever it's going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4. You can slice and dice audio. So we learned a few commands like, you know, command E, R is to cut, all of that sort of stuff. You can add basic audio effects. So this is what we went through last time. Arsha, do you want to quickly summarize for us what an EQ is? It can just be 1 line or 2.
It's an equalizer.
Yes.
And
No, that's good.
You can use it to change like the highs and lows and
perfect.
play around with what. Yeah. Okay, that's good enough, I think.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, exactly. play around with the highs and lows. So basically, affect the frequencies in a track. It allows you to change the volume of a certain frequency range, whether it's lows, mids, highs, or even more specific. Compression. Pransh, you remember what compression does?
What I remember was that it makes your voice sound better if
This
you're
is true.
recording.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Yeah. So it basically makes loud sounds softer and thereby reduces what's called the dynamic range, which is like what's the difference between the loudest and the softest decibel. So it makes loud sounds softer, and it somehow seems to have a magic effect on voices, guitars, most things. Cool. Reverb is pretty self-explanatory, makes you sound like you're in a different space. And
The
with
toilet.
yeah, Prayad sent me a vocal recording of him saying something, and I replied, "Are you in the toilet? That's 100% bathroom reverb." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck, got me out." um, cool. And then obviously with those skills, you can also make transitions or mashups by arranging those tracks. Those different tracks can be in the same key as well. So Likit and Pransh are following over here because to kind of really understand that, I've covered that in previous classes in the DJ thing, which is like beat matching, getting tracks in sync, harmonic mixing, getting tracks in the same similar key, and cue syncing. So knowing that, all right, we're getting to the outro of the song, which is 32 bars. Let's line it up with the intro of another song, which is also 32 bars. So yeah, if you really want to make those DJ sets or perform in Ableton, those are some really good things to go back to, and they're all up on YouTube. Yeah, and then you know how to automate a parameter. So you can click any parameter in Ableton, right click it, show automation in new lane. It comes up with a red line, and you can drag, and that's your automation. Cool. Any questions on any of this stuff so far before I now flip everything on its head by showing you session view?
Quick one, bro. What's
Yeah.
automate again?
Yeah, sure, no worries. So automate is like, let's say this track is like this loud, right? Let me turn that off. What the fuck? Yeah, so it's this loud. Oi. Come on, I forgot how to use Ableton overnight. Yeah, but automation allows it to change the volume, for example, over time. So this is the volume on the right. So if I say show automation in new lane, I can have it come in soft and then rise because I've drawn that line where it says mixer track volume. It's down first and then it slowly fades in. Cool. Can you guys hear things? Yeah, you can hear things. Yeah, awesome. Cool. So yeah, that's automation. But look at what we showed last time is that concept can be extended to any button. So under an audio effects, if you go to reverb and grab a reverb and put it on the track, you can now automate the actual the reverb coming in as well. So show automation, on the reverb plus. So now it's going to get like more reverby with time as well. Can you hear that reverb? Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much everything we've covered so far. And oh, come on.
Very quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was using automation as well, there's sometimes where the red line just comes off as off on the right hand side, and it doesn't. I don't know. It's not active for some reason.
Yeah, right. Okay. So if that ever happens, are you just using, I'm guessing you're just using the red line over the track.
Yeah.
So if that happens, all you got to do is click the parameter you want to automate.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Do you mean when it goes gray like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is a concept that I'll actually explain in this class. It's Ableton thinks that you want to jam over the automation that's set and you want to ignore it for a bit. So that's why it's gone gray. So if you click this orange button on the top,
Yeah.
let's see what the tooltip says. It says re-enable automation, right? So if you click that, then it goes back to being the red line.
Okay, makes sense.
Just one sec. Hey, are you here for the Burning Man event? That's just next door. So go straight and cut left. Thanks, mate. Sample space. Sorry, guys. One sec.
Okay,
I just love saying, "Are you here for the Burning Man event?" It gives me such a kick. Yeah. So basically, if you press that branch, it'll come back. Okay. Cool. So the kicker is, Eric, all good so far? You're following with everything so far, having more educated chats with younger behind the scenes, I'm hoping. Nice. So the thing though is we've learned how to do all of this in a chronological order. right? Which is typically how most DAWs, which is digital audio workstations, all these music production softwares are set up, and even film for that matter. But this is where Ableton really flips things on its head, okay, which is session view, which is something we haven't really explored so far. I think in the first class I just showed you it exists, but then we haven't really gone back to it. So that's what we're going to do today. Inspirational quote, something I randomly came up with because I looked on quotes for Google and I couldn't find one, is sometimes you have to stand upside down to see things the right way up. And that's what Ableton does. I've really been stuck with a track sometimes because I've put it in a certain order and then I just put it into session view, rearrange things, and I'm like, of course it should start with the guitar, not with the beat. That's so much better. And I see a clearer path and I go again, all right? So on that, let's go ahead and actually have a look at session view. So firstly, to enable session view, all you have to do is hit tab. I'm going to put all of the shortcuts in the notes as always. But yeah, so just tab flicks between arrangement view and session view. So now you might be thinking, what is this? Because you've understood that in arrangement view, the rows are tracks, okay? Anything inside the rows is a clip, and you can click that to get the clip view. You can click here to get the device view, which is what devices are on that track. Everyone's got that. And obviously, this is the master. This is the master means the sum of all of the tracks, okay? Pretty clear. But when you hit tab, it's like, I don't know how many spreadsheets you guys have done, but it's like a pivot table. It literally pivots the rows into columns, okay? So a column is now the track. So let me actually name this track 1. Okay, and let me name this track 2 on arrangement. So you're following me so far. But if I hit tab, you'll see that track 1 is now column 1. Track 2 is now column 2, okay? So this is a fresh session, right? Like it's all new. So now, okay, well, like what else? Like what can I actually do with this stuff? And I'm just gonna disable anything I haven't explained yet to try and keep it nice and simple. So now inside each track is a cell. I'm speaking like spreadsheet language, right? Like it's a cell inside each track. So a cell is now a clip. So what I mean by clip is, let me just pull in a tune. So this is a clip. If I double click it, does this look familiar? Clip view, it's exactly the same view you had over here, right? So clip view comes down over here. If you want to switch back to device view, which are what are the effects on the track, you double click the track. Or you go shift tab. I'll put that into the notes as well. Okay, you can also switch at the bottom right over here. Cool. So clip view, so each cell is a clip, each track is a column. So far, so good, right? So then it begs the question like, okay, what are the rows? What are these 1, 2, 3, 4? Because we've never seen that before. This then becomes a scene. A scene plays all of the clips in that row. Okay? So let me, I put 2 clips in here. I'm going to show you what I've done to these clips in a second. But firstly, let's just play them one by one. So if I press play on the one on the left. Okay, so it plays. Now to stop it, I just hit my space bar. Some controls that are good to know while we're here is this will play it. Actually, let me turn it down like I used to. Yeah, this will play it. And this will stop it. This over here is can you see the bottom left? Clip stop button. On the bottom left, okay? So that will stop the clips playing in that track, okay? If you want to stop all of the clips playing, let's say I have 2 things playing. Okay, now I have 2 clips. I have like a melody and a drum. And I want to stop all of the clips. I click this stop button. Stop all clips, bottom right, okay? So now you saw that to put on clip 1 and clip 2, let's call them, I first hit this and then I hit this, right? But a more efficient way to do that is I could just hit this button over here, the 1. This will now play both of those clips. Sorry guys, I have to move spots to connect to my charger, which means you won't be able to see my face because it's fucking dark and I don't know where the lights are, but you'll still be able to hear me and see the screen. Yeah, actually you can kind of see me with my screen. Okay, so everyone with me so far, right? So it's a track, that's a clip, and the scene will play both things in that clip. So now like that's all well and good, but what can you actually like do with it? Like why is this useful? So I'll show you in a second. the session view can be used for three main things. The first one is just a jam pad. Okay, that's probably where I use it the most. It's just a great way to kind of come up with ideas, and I'm going to show you that in a sec. The next one is it can be used as a performance tool, which thereby makes Ableton the only DAW where you can produce music and perform it live in the same software. And that's a big part of Ableton. That's why it's called Ableton Live. It's like the whole live element. And the last one is it can also be a good recording tool. Let's say you have some elements in the future, you know how to play instruments, chords, all that sort of stuff as well. You're just not sure how they all come together yet. And you just need some kind of place to, play them and manipulate them and just have it record in the background. I'll show you how to do that in this class as well. Like it can be a recording tool as well. So let's just start jamming out something. So this is a little idea that I had earlier that I'll just jam out, okay? So how do I insert a clip? So how did I get that there? Yeah, like for now I've saved it on the left, but I want to show you like right from scratch, like how you'd be starting. I know the song name, so I'm gonna just find the song. So obviously we're still just working with audio. We're not gonna touch MIDI in this one. I bring it in, I right click and I warp over here, warp from here straight, and it's now warped. And I grab the little melody that I want. I think it's like 4 bars. Okay. So now I want to set it as a loop. So I set the looper there, which is the top button, and I just click loop. Okay. So what I would have done in arrangement view is I would have found that section and then I would have gone Command D to duplicate it or stretch the top right corner, right, to loop it infinitively. Over here, I can just hit loop and it's going to loop forever. So now if I click play on this clip, that's how I got there. Okay. Everyone can hear things, see things, all good? Yeah, cool. So now I have one clip over here. So now what I want to do is I want to add a beat to it. So to add a new track, Command T, right? The same shortcut as in arrangement, except it comes as a row, as a column instead of a row. And I want to add a beat. So I take a nice easy track from Cora because it has an easy beat. Okay, and I drag it in here. Now we can start to get a little bit creative. Like I can see that the beat starts with no kick drum. How can I tell? Because there's no massive boom and the kick drum comes from beat 9 onwards. Everyone following? So I'm going to make one clip here. So I'm going to click it and go loop. Okay. Usually set your mode to complex pro, warp mode. Forgot to do that there. Cool. And now if I just want to hear noose, if I press play, it'll play the left one as well. Because you can see that. Can you see the play buttons lit up? It means the clip is launched, it's ready to go. So if I hit play, it'll play both. So if I just want to hit the one, if I just want to hear noose, I could stop this one. So stop on the left. So now it'll just play noose, all right? Just want to hear the beat, cool, seems all right. And yeah, by the way, this is the BPM on the left. It's all warped because warp button is on. So if I turn up the BPM, the speed will turn up. If I turn it down, it'll turn down, all that stuff. No worries, you're not going to fall out of sync. So, okay, that's cool. If I now click scene 1, I have a melody and a beat. Very good. What if later on, I might want the beat with the kick drum though? So now here is where I would want to go and have something in the new row, i.e. scene 2, okay? So I want to make a copy of this clip over here, and I just want it to move to the section where the kick drum is there. So I could click it, I could go Command C, just like a spreadsheet, click the one below and go Command V, okay? Or I could just click it, drag it down, but hold Alt. In Windows, it might be different. So that does the same thing. And now over here in the second clip, I'm just going to move the looper to bar 9. So a good trick to make sure you're always in the 4, 8, 16, 32 is at the bottom left over here. The length of the loop is 800. Perfect. Okay. If you have 801 or whatever, it's going to slowly start to go out of phrasing because I'm not actually at the perfect 8 bars. And so every time it loops, it's a bit late. While this one is perfectly at a 4. And so it's going to start to go out of sync, out of phrase. Okay. So now if you notice, if I click this clip in Noose, the first row, it's just this bar 1 to 9. But now if I click the second row, it's bar 9 to 17. Okay. So if I click play on that, that's got the kick drum in there. Cool. Everyone following so far? But now here's a problem, right? Oh man, sorry, this fucking Zoom window, which you guys can't see, is in my way. Okay, so now there's a problem though. Like if I click scene 1, and then if I want, okay, I'm ready for the kick drum, and I click scene 2, the melody went away because the melody is not in scene 2. So I obviously want to copy the melody down as well. So now the melody, yeah, how do I copy it? I know, click, hold alt, drag down. So now the melody is the same in track 1 and track 2. Sorry, scene 1 and scene 2. But the difference that's happened is that this one has the kick. Okay. So now before things get more complicated, let me just rename things. Over here, I'm going to call it melody, the track name, the drums, I'm just going to call them drums. I'm just going to name the clip as well. So to name things, I'm clicking it and going Command R. Now on the drums, I want to be careful how I name it. I can name the first clip maybe hi-hats and the second clip kick. So that, you know, just so that I'm following what's actually happening. Okay. And yeah, from here, you can just kind of keep building. And you might think like, oh, arrangement view seems easier. It's all chronologic, but I'll show you how this could be handy in a sec. Let's add a third layer, and I'm going to add this awesome producer that Likith showed me called Lifafa. All right. So I'm going to grab his track and throw it in here. And I'm just going to have a listen. Now, if I just want to listen to Ek Nagma, the name of the song, how do I stop all the clips? Arshad, do you know how I stop all the clips? What do I do?
You press in master, you press the click off thing.
Nice. Awesome. Yep. So if I just click this, it stops all the clips. You can see that flash it does. That means it's like a scene, like all of these, play all of them. This one stops all of them. Okay. So now I just want to hear Ek Nagma. And I want a nice loop. Obviously, I've warped it beforehand, I think. Yeah. Nice, that's a good loop. Let it... That's a problem. Do you guys notice the problem? Let's say I like the 8-bar loop, but at the end of the 8-bar loop, 8 bars ends at the number 9. The thing is though, he starts singing just at the end. So if I loop it, it's going to sound like an imperfect loop. It's going to sound like this. So Command L for loop, by the way. Oh God, why did it loop all of it? So you can select a range just like that. Command L, loop. All right. So now if I listen to it, let's say if I listen to it with everything. So as you can see, I'm nearing the end of bar 8. Just keep an ear out. Not ideal, right? So here's where a little easy trick could be the slicing and dicing skills we've learned. That would be a great way to cover up that last part. So slicing and dicing audio is still best done in arrangement view, okay? This is where you just put ideas together, jam them out and stuff, but anything really detailed like that, you want to move into arrangement view. So now if I hit tab, you'll see that arrangement view over here looks off, like how earlier Priyansh's automation looked off. It looks all a bit grayed out. That's because there's an inherent conflict here. Ableton's like, dude, you got to decide. Do you want to use session view right now, or do you want to use arrangement view right now? Because what if you have a different arrangement here and a different thing in the session? What do I play? I don't know, right? So this is where you tell Ableton to decide which one you want. And that's this button on the right. This, if you look at the bottom left at the tooltip, back to arrangement, okay? So if I click this, now arrangement view comes on. So this is now you're starting to understand the relationship between session view and arrangement view. And soon you'll see how they actually, right now it seems they're not working together very well. Soon you'll see how they marry together really fucking well. But right, so back to arrangement view is now on. Okay, I don't know why this file is up here. It shouldn't. So it's completely okay for arrangement view to be empty and session view to have tracks. They don't have to both mimic each other, okay? If you do want to record something from here into that, I'll show you at the end, of course, but this is what it should look like. It's all empty. Now, I want to take that Ek Nagma track, but I want to clean up that loop so it's not, you know, going to have the guy's voice at the end. So you notice I grabbed the track, I hit tab, and I just dropped it down. That's all I did. Any questions on what I just did? Click, hold, tab, drop. Obviously, I also dropped it in the right track channel. Number 3 Ek Nagma, number 3 Ek Nagma, okay? And did you notice it also perfectly dropped the 8-bar loop? It didn't drop, the whole track, because that's the clip properties over here in the session view is the 8-bar loop. So dropped exactly that. Now, how would I fix it? Well, let me just listen to that last bar where his voice comes in. Okay, so it really is only the last, let's look at it from a bar's music theory point of view, bar 8, right? So halfway through bar 8, well, there's 4 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So from beat 3 onwards is the problem. So let's make a cut over here. So to cut, Command E, all right? All of this was in the slicing and dicing class, but I'll keep going over it again. And then an easy hack would be I can just make another cut at this other perfect 2-bar section, 8 to 8.3, click it and duplicate. So Command D. So now what it did is it effectively copied this over here. I could also drag it and hold Alt. Right? Now let's listen. Cool. You can hear that little bit of a jump, but it's clean enough. Like, especially because there's other elements, it's not too bad. So now I want to take this and make this my new 8-bar loop. But these are obviously 3 different clips. So this is where the consolidate function comes in handy. You select all, Command J, and now it stitches it into a whole new clip of its own. Cool. Now if I take it and drag it back, it is overwritten the previous file that was there. So now if I play it, let's listen to that. Let's see if that perfect loop happens and the vocal successfully disappeared. I have to hit loop. I forgot to hit loop. Clicking loop. All right. Perfect. Cool. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of a click, but for example's sake, it's totally fine. All right. Any questions on how I just went to arrangement, I did a little fix, and I brought it back using the consolidate function. Is that all clear?
So when you actually consolidate the track, because originally when you drag it from session into like project view, you have the full track, but you've got it clipped to where you want it looped.
Yes.
So then when you take it back across, you're replacing the entire audio file. You've only got that snippet, right?
Correct. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah. So if you can see, if I zoom out over here, there's nothing past bar 8. Okay. So that's why it's handy to have a folder over here. If you're playing with any tunes, you can just drag the tune. I know it's over here. I can just drag it in. It's always there. Okay. And that, oh shit, no, that's not the full track. My bad. I don't know. That seemed to have overwritten that as well. I can just drag the track again. But yeah, it's handy to keep the track in a folder nearby or something like that. So this is the full track over here. And that first clip over here is, as Eric said accurately, it's just the consolidated clip, which means the full track isn't there. So if I do want the vocal though, it starts from bar 9. I can do the same thing I did with Naus over here. And I can just move my looper to bar 9, right? And set an 8-bar loop. So loop 8, there we go. So obviously it should start from there as well. So that's my in marker where I start. So if I stop all clips and just listen to that. Cool. So now I have synth and vocals. So you can see now it's starting to get, I have a few options here, like in terms of how I want to start things. Do I want to, like, I can just go all in. Let's say I'm making an edit over here. I don't really have an end in mind right now, but I can, if I click scene 1, it plays everything. And this, by the way, guys, this pie chart is a really handy bar counter. It's telling me that this is a 32-bar loop, 32-beat loop, and it loops there, right? So that's handy because I'm going to play it again. Sorry, you might get sick of the loop, but I'm going to actually hit play on scene 2. And you'll notice that it waits till the end of the bar before it going on to scene 2. So in Tractor, we use the word quantize. It means only change on the grid. Same thing. And yeah, well, I'll just show you that. I'll just show you that for now. So I'm going to click scene 1. I'm going to wait till the nearly 32. And then I'm going to click scene 2. And it's going to happen just at the right time. So I'm halfway through. gonna get ready, put my cursor on scene 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So yeah, everyone's, I think, following so far on what I've done there, right? So now though, we get into the jam pad part of it. Like, okay, I have a little idea. Now what can I do with it? So I've shown you all of this. I'm going to show you moving it around to come up with an order. So let me just take all of this. So just like a spreadsheet, click shift and bring it all down. Okay. So now I've got nothing in scene 1. If I click scene 1, there's nothing. And because I have like, 5 or 6 different pieces of music. So I'm going to just play around. Instead of arrangement where if I commit to an arrangement, to move it around is like quite a pain. Over here now I can just go, what if I start with a melody? Okay, that's cool. What if I then have the synth? Okay. And so if I want melody in scene 2 as well, I just drag and hold down. So now I go melody. That's cool. And now let's go scene 2. Okay, yep, that's cool. And then I want hi-hats. So again, I'm going to bring melody down, bring synth down. And so let's listen to it now. Yep, cool. That's all good. And you know what? I actually want the kick to come in first before I then want the vocals to come in. So kick first, so keep everything else the same. Okay. And then when everything is in, I want to go to the vocal part of Ek Nagma. So now click 5. So that's one way to arrange it. And you might be like, okay, this is all cool and we're having fun maybe, but like, how does this translate to actually getting a recording out and spitting it out? This segues into that really well, but this is one possible arrangement I came up with. Another I'm just doing Command Z to undo what I did. Another possible arrangement, start with the hi-hats, okay? So more of a DJ style intro where you usually start with percussion, so it's easy to mix. And then bring in the melody. And then bring in the synth. So different ways to tell the same story, right? And let's then bring in the kick and then bring in the vocals, okay? And maybe drop the melody, whatever, just mix it up a bit, so. Okay, obviously we would have waited for the full 32 beats in an ideal world. I'm just showing you for example's sake. So that's a little bit about how the jam pad like this can be really handy if you have different sections of a song. Full disclosure, this properly comes to life when you also have MIDI instruments and you're making like a track and there's a chord pattern here and a beat over there. So take the understanding and then apply it to like what's possible if you have not just samples of other people's tracks, but also, your own chords or your own beat loops or whatever it is. But that's a little bit about how it can be used as a jam pad. Now let's see how it can be used as a performance tool, all right? So I've jammed everything out. Let's say I go back to the first arrangement I had. I liked it like that, for example. Oh, wait, not like that. So I want melody, and then I want hi-hats, and then I want synth, okay? Now, you might have seen that I was dragging melody into scene 2, because otherwise what happens is it'll just play what's in scene 2. The melody's not there. Now, in the performance, like just in this next part, the performance module, I'm going to kind of show you a cool trick to get around that. Let's say you want this melody to just keep playing. When scene 2 starts, you don't want it to stop. It's stopping because right now there's a stop button there. You notice how there's a stop button here and you click that to stop a track? Well, there's a stop button there. So when you click it, you see it flashes. And so it's stopping whatever's playing in that track. So one thing you could do instead of dragging that down each time, if you want that melody to just keep staying, you can click this cell, right click, remove stop button. Okay, or Command E, right? So Command E, and again, I'll put that shortcut in the notes. So now what happens is, cool. And now imagine if you have a MIDI controller, you can control the level of this melody using a fader. So you're not that finicky by clicking buttons here and there. You can kind of fade things up and down. You'll know that it'll keep playing because you've removed the stop button. So it's more oriented for performance, okay? And then let's say you want both of them to keep playing. So you select both of these cells and go Command E. And now if I click 3, right? So now I'm a little bit more free flow because I'm clicking melody, I'm clicking synth. Whenever I want, I click hi-hats, right? And again, imagine you have a little MIDI controller or even your keyboard, which I'll show you how to hack into in a second. And you can, you can just map these buttons to buttons on your keyboard and you can jam different things to come in. Okay, so that's how to remove the stop button. Of course, we haven't spoken about effects, but just like audio tracks and arrangement, if I want the melody over here to have a little bit more variation to it, I might go to the filter delay effect and I might drop it onto melody. Okay, and so now the melody sounds like this. Yeah, okay, and then I bring the hi-hats. Actually, that's a little bit much and it doesn't have a dry wet. I'm just going to use a normal delay. Okay. Cool. Can you hear that bit of delay? Just subtle, but it's there to give a bit of variation. Okay. And the dry wet controls how much delay, right? Now, again, imagine you have a little MIDI controller. That's another live element you can control. You bring this in, you bring that in, you bring the synth in. Okay. So effects, just like they're there in arrangement, are also there on session view, but they're used more as a in the moment. Let me try this. Let me try that. Like if you're jamming or if you're performing, it records every little parameter change you're making, which I'll show you in a sec. Before that, I really want to show you how to map MIDI scenes to not your controller, your keyboard. Your keyboard is actually a pretty powerful thing in Ableton. It can do a couple of things. One, it can turn into a piano or any instrument that you want, but that's a lesson for another day. The other thing it can do is it can actually be mapped as a MIDI controller. Okay. So on the top right, if you see key over here, right now, I'm clicking 1 and then clicking 2. Imagine if I could just click 1 and 2 on my keyboard and have the scenes change. That way, one of my hands is, the cursor is free to fuck around with effects and I can still change the scene. So let me just build out that arrangement over here. Cool. So if you notice the gaps mean it won't stop. It'll keep playing, right? So now I'm going to go key on the top right. And you see it's changed my whole, interface into an orange color. This is the good news. Anything that's orange can be mapped, i.e. all of Ableton pretty much. It's pretty sick. And as easy as this, how do you make this one button here become the one button on your keyboard? You click key, you click the button 1. I haven't done anything else. I've just clicked. You can't see my trackpad, but all I've done is click the button 1. Click on your screen. And then I click number 1 on my keyboard. And you'll immediately see it mapped it. It's that easy, okay? So when you're fast at it, and you've done this a few times, you can just even use your cursor and go down and click 2, down 3, down 4, down 5, down 6, down 7, down 8, and hit key again, and suddenly, and just with my keyboard, I'm now changing things. Asha's grinning. She's like, there goes my productivity for the weekend. Right? It's always good fun bringing in the kick, so let's wait a little bit. Build the delay. And number 4 for the kick. Okay. So now you're starting to, I think, maybe see like what's actually enabled through session view. It can be really, really powerful, especially when you map it in this mode. Okay. You can also map your keyboard to any of the DJs having a smoke break. You can also map the keyboard to any of the actual clips, I think. So let me just click a clip and click T. Yep. And let me stop everything. So again, master stop button. Now, if I just click the button T, there you go. Cool. So if you don't want this whole scene business, you can just have different clips mapped to different keys and just click on those and launch individual clips. Okay. So now you're starting to understand, click a button, launch a clip. Maybe videos like where you've seen all these people with all of these buttons and they're clicking things and it's triggering things. That's all it's doing. It's just a big MIDI controller. All right. Cool. clip automation. Wasn't sure whether to show you. Okay, you know what? I will show this. No, yeah, I think it's still cool to know. So now you know how to, put things in a certain order. Let's say you want some variation though. Let's say every time you bring in this clip, it comes in too hard and you want it to fade in. So automation you've learned in arrangement view, but it happens over a period of time. Over here, the concept of time is out of the window because you can keep playing it as long or short as you like. So what if you still want automation? What if you want something to fade in? Click the parameter you want to automate, right click, show automation. And this is the cool part. It brings up the automation, but within the clip view. You understand? It's not happening in the project arrangement view. It's happening in the clip view. So now, yeah, show automation brings up that same red line. I can click it and go down. Watch what's happening to the fader. So now when I click 3, it'll always fade up. Okay. So that makes those transitions between scenes really smooth. Let's say I'm playing 1 and 2. And now if I want to bring in 3 subtly, and if I click 3, cool. So that's clip automation. I'm going to delete it for now. To delete it, you can right click and delete automation or just click it. Anything with a red dot has been automated, even in arrangement view. So I can click it and click delete. Okay. Wait. Oh, sorry. Command delete. My bad. All right. Sick. Any questions so far before I show you this last part and we wrap up, which is the recording part, which is pretty cool. All good? Nice. Sorry, I look like I'm a fucking vampire in this dark, but the laptop is actually pretty bright. Sick. Now, this is the really fun part. Like, let's say you have all of this and you've come up with an edit that flows in a way that you're like, you've got an intro. Okay, I'm gonna rebuild this for a sec. You've got an intro, then you introduce the melody, then you introduce the synth, then you introduce the kick, remove these stop buttons for now. And then you want the vocals to, maybe you want the melody to drop out over here, and then you want the melody to come back. Okay. So simple arrangement over here that I've jammed out. I now want to just record this because maybe I'm performing live and I want to record it for later, or the more common use, recording and playing it live is a more organic, it's more human to us to play an instrument rather than like click things on a screen, which Ableton very much recognizes. That's why they built this view, because I can have a jam. I can even move volumes around and it'll all come through clearly in arrangement view as a recording. Okay. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. All you got to do is hit the big record button, and then anything you do is going to be recorded, including automation. So here's what I mean. So hit record, press play. Okay. Now I want that melody to creep in really softly. For a second, because I'm feeling really like in the moment right now, I'm going to just click the clips rather than the scene for now. Okay. So I want it to fade in from here. Okay. No delay to start with. Okay. If I click tab, what's happening? Can you see everything I'm doing is being recorded, including automation. Okay. Bring it in. Wait for the right part. And in the moment, I've just decided I want the kick. Actually, no, I want the synth. Okay. And I've decided, you know what? Actually, I want a filter as well. So. And I'm ready for the kick. Okay. And now it's time to start building a bit of tension with the delay. And vocals. Let's say in the middle I wanted to start going faster. Or slower. And stop. Okay. Hit tab. Everything is grayed out because Ableton doesn't know whether I want to play in session view or arrangement view. I click return to arrangement. And literally everything I did is ready to go as an arrangement for me to make other decisions. Maybe I didn't want that to come in. I can edit it that easily. Or, that automation I fucked up. I want to actually just draw a straight line. I can click that plus button, click here, delete it, and redo the automation if I like. But for now, if I play it back, it's going to play back exactly what I did. See how I faded in that melody? It's come through. And obviously, this is not the most, I think, exciting example. I only had 1 hour to put something together. But I think you still get the idea that performing live on Ableton is pretty innovative, actually. Cool. So it plays it back. And then, yeah, once it's an arrangement, like anything else, select it, export it, MP3, put it up, get famous, do what you want. So yeah, that's how session view can be used as all of these three things. Just while we have, so any questions before I just quickly show you maybe a MIDI session to draw a parallel to a future world? No? All good? Nice. Yeah, this is something I found on my computer. This happens to me a lot. I get really high sometimes where I make something, but I don't remember how I made it. So I somehow seem to have sampled the metronome, the annoying metronome in Ableton. I was really vibing it one night, apparently. And this is one of my favorite effects, frequency shifter. So I turned it down. Makes it a bit darker, but still pops at the 1. That's what I like about it. It has that 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then I use these different scenes to build a little bass line. Add some keys. Maybe a bit faster. These are keys that I played. Next scene. This and record it if I want, So obviously it's a little bit more fun when there's, I think, MIDI involved, because these are just chord ideas or little samples and I can juggle them around. I've gone for something quite linear here, as you can see, starts, adds an element, adds an element, adds an element. But the more I play, I could take things out, bring them back in, and it just warps song structure on its head, because you can see it in a different way rather than arrangement view only thinking linear. And I think that's that. I've included some notes on Tractor and Ableton in the notes for you, PD. But yeah, man, that's that. What do you guys think about session view? So what are you expecting? No thoughts at all? That's fine too.
It was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, bro.
Very flexible.
Very flexible, yeah. Do you always see Younger more on session view, I'm assuming, because he's such a live performer?
Yeah, he'll never touch anything else besides session view. Like his entire setup runs on that. So like the way, obviously, when you were showing how easy it is to map and everything like that, he's practically got every loop set to a key on his setup, and he has 2 controllers to be able to do that.
If everyone has a minute, do we all want to quickly just watch Younger's video of Lagan together? Now that you've seen this, I just think it's so cool. And Arsha sent it to me, and I think I've showed it to PD on a previous call. I'll just shut up and we'll just quickly watch this. And then later we can do a 30-second what happened. But look out for session view that comes in when the camera angle switches at 30 seconds. I haven't seen this a lot, I promise. Love it. What a guy. Asha's gushing. Yeah. So I mean, pretty much what he did initially is he was obviously adding beats by having a drum rack. Something I'll show you in maybe the next class actually is how to make beats and how to do the same thing he did. You can use your keyboard if you don't have a controller for now. That's what he did initially. But what he was also doing was switching to the next scene. And then when he turned around and played the drums, the scene stayed the same. And he just added drums over the scene that was playing because his drums were going in as a recording into a certain audio channel. So the more you do here, the more you watch videos like that, you can start to break down what's happening. It sometimes ruins the illusion, but it's also really fun because when it's great music like that and at concerts and stuff, you just forget you're in another world, but you can switch into that part if you want. Sick. All right, cool. I got to go back to Burning Man. I love saying that.
I think everyone here is just low-key hating on you a little bit. So like, yeah, Bunny Man, yeah.
Oh, fuck off, mate. You were the guy with the wall last time in the mosaic and, the whole everyday job you have. So it's not just me here.
Yeah, that's also fair.
All right, cool. Okay, have fun, guys. Pranch, we'll chat another time about the podcast stuff.
Yes, so whenever you're free.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
See you guys.
See you guys. Thanks,
Bye.
Louis. See you.
Yeah.
Anytime.